Giants versus the Eagles. The trilogy continues. This is the third time this season these two teams have matched up against each other. And the last two times they faced off, the Eagles have won. The first time they played, the Eagles won this game, and it wasn't even close. It was 48-22. The second go around, the Giants were more competitive, but the Eagles weren't playing at full strength. They were resting their starters for the postseason. So, for the New York Giants, what do you have to do to win this game? Well, first of all, you got to get Daniel Jones way more involved on the ground than you did the first go around when you played the Philadelphia Eagles. The first time when they got blown out by Philadelphia, Daniel Jones didn't do much on the ground. He had 4 carries for 26 rushing yards. And although he did a touchdown, he didn't have the same impact on the ground in that first matchup against Philadelphia that he did in last week's win over the Minnesota Vikings. Against Minnesota, Danny Dimes was damn near unstoppable. He had over 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, and he had 17 carries for 78 rushing yards. You need his mobility to be a big part of his game in this matchup. Not just because of what he can do on the ground, but also because of his ability to extend plays and buy time for these receivers to get open. And let's face it, if you're a New York Giants fan, you know that you're outmatched up front. Going against this stout defensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles, yeah, your offensive tackles are okay. You got Andrew Thomas. You have Evan Neal, who's been up and down, but the interior of your offensive line should be a major concern. Not to mention, you gave up 3 sacks against the Minnesota Vikings, and you gave up a couple the first time you played the Philadelphia Eagles. Not to mention, the Philadelphia Eagles, it seemed like although they weren't getting sacks every single play against you in that first game, it seemed like they was in the backfield getting a hit on Daniel Jones damn near every single play. So you got to get Daniel Jones involved on the ground, utilizing his legs, and also you got to use that mobility to extend plays because you're not going to be able to beat this Philadelphia Eagles team just strictly from asking Daniel Jones to throw the ball inside the pocket. And I don't say that as a knock on Daniel Jones. I'm saying that as a testament to how good this defensive line of Philadelphia is and how much of a mismatch their defensive line is versus your offensive line. If the Giants are going to win this game, they're going to have to be able to do it still their way. But at the same time, they're going to have to get a little innovative. And of course, they're more than capable of being able to do that because of Brian Daboll, the job he's done all season long, and how good this coaching staff has been. Mike Kafka, their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale had a fantastic game plan, shutting down that Minnesota Vikings offense. He held Justin Jefferson to only 7 receptions for 47 receiving yards. They slowed down the rushing attack of Dalvin Cook. So the coaching staff has been fantastic, but this is probably going to have to be, from this point forward, from the divisional round to however else far they go, they have to be coaching the best games of their whole entire lives. You're not only facing a team that is just as well coached as you, but also more talented. You're not facing the Minnesota Vikings this week. The Minnesota Vikings, we knew that offensively they were going to be a challenge. But defensively, nobody was scared of that defense. And you got to think, although the Giants offensively had a fantastic performance, a good amount of that success can be attributed to the fact that the Vikings defense wasn't great. You're going against the Philadelphia Eagles, who have had one of the best defenses in the NFL for the whole entire season. Not only are they talented, but they have a lot of depth across the board at every single position. It's a dude named Reed Blankenship, safety who they drafted, or I don't even know if they drafted him or not, but all I know is he's a rookie, didn't really know too much of him, and this guy's been balling for the Philadelphia Eagles. So that tells you how much depth they have at every level on their defense and on their offense. I mean, offensively, you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. You got to worry about the dual threat ability of Jalen Hurts. Like, for Wink Martindale, I'm just glad I'm not in his shoes trying to figure out a game plan for slowing down this Philadelphia Eagles offense because it's a handful. So for the coaching, when it comes to that being an advantage in this game, I don't really think it is. As a matter of fact, I think when it comes to the coaching matchup, I think it's pretty fair. I think it's pretty evenly balanced. The Eagles got a fantastic coaching staff. Their offensive coordinator is in talks for getting a couple of head coaching jobs. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, you're going against a fantastic coaching staff in the New York Giants. Brian Daboll, Coach of the Year. Their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator are in head coaching talks. But I don't think the Giants are going to be able to out-scheme their way to a win in particular. This isn't the Minnesota Vikings. You're going to have to not only be able to out-scheme Philadelphia, but you still have to find a way to do what got you here. And that's running the football with Saquon Barkley. Now, Saquon Barkley didn't have to be the star against the Minnesota Vikings, but he definitely has to be the star in this game against the Philadelphia Eagles. There's no way you're going to be able to win this game with Saquon Barkley only having 9 carries for 28 yards. You got to find ways to get him the ball. And it doesn't just have to be handing him the football several times. It can be getting him out wide, lining him up in the slot, hoping that you can get him matched up against a safety or a linebacker, or maybe you can find a way to get some screen passes going to him. You just got to get Saquon Barkley the ball. These receivers aren't going against old man Patrick Peterson. They're going against James Bradbury, Darius Slay. They're going against one of the best secondaries in the NFL, so I'm going to have a hard time picturing guys like Isaiah Hodges, who else? Darius Slayton having the performance that they had against Minnesota against this Philadelphia Eagles defense. It's going to be tough, not to mention Daniel Jones isn't going to have a lot of time to throw the football, so you got to get the ball out fast, and you got to get it to your best playmaker on offense, and that is Saquon Barkley. Listen, I love Richie James. I love a great story. I love a fantastic underdog story of guys who come out of nowhere and make an impact. But in the postseason, you need guys also who are dogs, and you need your best players to make big plays. Get Saquon Barkley the damn football. He needs to have at least 25 or 30 touches in this game. The offensive line, big concern. Okay, defensively, the strength of your defense is the defensive line. You want to force Philadelphia, when they end up throwing the football, to keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket. Try to see if you can eliminate his mobility and force him to beat you with his arm. Now, if you're an Eagles fan, I don't want you getting all riled up in the comment section. I'm not trying to say Jalen Hurts can't throw the football. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is that if you're the New York Giants, you want Jalen Hurts to beat you in the pocket because it plays to the strength of your defense. And the strength of New York's defense is what? Their defensive line. Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, okay, Kayvon Thibodeau, their pass rush, their defensive line is the meat and potatoes of their defense. So therefore, if Philadelphia ends up becoming one-dimensional and they start airing the football out, you're kind of playing into the strength of what this defense is, and that's their defensive line. Now, although this defense statistically isn't great at anything, they don't do a great job statistically against the run, even though they were pretty good against Minnesota. They don't force a lot of takeaways. They're solid against the pass. But I think what this defense does a great job at is being good situationally. Against Minnesota, fantastic job getting off the field on third down situations. They're good in the red zone, top 10 in red zone defense. They're top 5 in third down defense. So this is a team that situationally knows how to get the ball back to their offense. They know how to get off the field. And against this Philadelphia Eagles offense, if you can put them into third down situations, I think that votes well for Wink Martindale. That's what you're trying to do. You got to be able to win on those early downs. I don't think the Giants want the Philadelphia Eagles to have success running the football on first and second down and setting them up with third and manageable, if you want to have a chance at beating Philadelphia, you got to put them in those third and long situations, throwing the football at Jalen Hurts, getting your pass rush going, and hopefully you can slow down these receivers with Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. That first game, Devontae Smith caught a touchdown where I thought the safety, I think it was Julian Love, I thought he was going to get the interception, and yet Devontae Smith still came down with the ball and the touchdown. I was hell of lost. I was like, what the hell just happened? The safety really just let that happen? So, for the New York Giants, can you limit the big plays? Can you keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket? Can you get off the field, third down, hold them in the red zone, the field goals? And offensively, you need your run game to be effective. Saquon, Daniel Jones are going to be a major part of that. Now, for the Philadelphia Eagles, this defense is fantastic. They can force turnovers. They're number one in pass defense, not only because they have a fantastic secondary, but you couple that with a fantastic pass rush. The run defense is probably their weakness, even though it's not really that much of a weakness, but statistically it is. But against the New York Giants, we already know they're going to key in on trying to slow down Saquon because they already know the same thing that most of us already know. The way the New York Giants are going to have success in this game offensively is by running the football. If they get into a game where they got to throw the football several times with Daniel Jones, you feel pretty good about that if you are an Eagles fan. The team not going to take the win this game, taking the Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles pretty much are the most talented team in the playoffs right now. They're stacked at every single position: offensive line, running back, receiver, defensive line, linebacker, cornerback. I mean, damn. So for the New York Giants, although they are a well-coached team, being a well-coached team only gets you so far until you play another team that has great coaching and a better roster. I think the Philadelphia Eagles not only win this game, but they win it convincingly. I'm taking the Eagles 38-14 to win this game.